Well, get this. Lonzo Ball is done with Big Baller Brand. ESPN reported this weekend that Lonzo cut ties with his father's company because of concerns with his dad's friend, Alan Foster, who is a part owner of the company. Ball said that Foster, quote, used his access to my business and personal finances to enrich himself. Lonzo is apparently missing about $1.5 million from his personal and business accounts and is pointing the finger at Foster. We're joined by FS1 NBA analyst, Chris Broussard. Good morning.
Good morning.
I will start with Shannon here, though. What's your reaction to this story?
Sad. I'm disappointed. If these allegations are true, that someone, and it's normally family, someone that's close to you, that you trust, although this guy's not blood related, but he's almost like family. He trusted him. LaVar was supposed to be overlooking this also. But I believe LaVar spread himself too thin. Trying to.
You mean like overseeing it?
Overseeing everything.
Right. That's Lonzo. You think it's the shoes?
Yeah.
It's got to be the shoes.
This is what
He
we
was
know.
playing in buddies, all right? You know what that is.
Yeah, I know what buddies are. But normally when you start a shoe, there's a lot of R&D that goes into that shoe. I don't know how much research and development went into Big Baller Brand. I'm just saying, Skip,
Did you get yours? I don't know.
Did you ever get them?
I did, yeah.
Well, what do you think of them? I held them. They look all right, but
I got the first model. If I was the first model. Now, if I was a security guard with a flashlight, you know what I'm trying to make sure they can wear them. They good for that. But that's about it.
That's quite an endorsement.
But here's the thing. If I'm Lonzo, Skip, do you know this guy's resume? This guy was sentenced to more than 7 years, pleading guilty to mail fraud and 2 counts of money laundering, defrauding 70 investors of $4 million. And you put him in charge of the money? Come on, Skip. A guy got arrested, spent time in prison for mail fraud and embezzling, and you put him in charge of the money. That makes no sense. You can't, there's no way. I don't care if it's my brother. My brother gonna do time for stealing money. He can't be in charge of my money. Now, somebody else might be fool enough to let him be in charge, but he can't be in charge of mine. So I'm sorry, Lonzo. I hope this is not true. And if it is true, I hope you can recoup everything. But Skip, man, people don't know. People ain't gonna do. I lost some money one time. I lost a big chunk of money one time. And I want to put that thing to his head. Real talk, Skip Bayless. But you know what I'm saying? You know what? I go to jail. I'm going to go to jail because I'm going to go to jail. I know I'm going to go to jail. And then my kids were very young then. It wasn't 1.5, it was 500,000, Skip. And the dude took it. It's a lot of dudes took it. And I really thought about it. I really did think about it.
Friend?
No, he wasn't a friend. It's somebody, I trust. Someone, this guy's doing a good job. I mean, at first he was doing a good job.
Yeah.
But all good things come to an end. And I'm glad the discretion was that, I thought about it. But, man, this is $1.5 million is a lot of money. Right. First of all, if it's $2, I worked hard to get those $2, and you took my money.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Shannon. This is sad, number one. We know this guy, Alan Foster's been up here. We've all had, LaVar's been on the show.
He comes every time with the
Yeah, seemed like a nice guy.
He runs
and
their social media.
So it was sad. When I saw the story and his picture, it was just stunned because you had dealt with this guy. And also for all the mistakes that LaVar has made, and there's plenty, with all 3 of his sons. Yeah. I mean, LiAngelo should still be at UCLA.
Sure.
LaMelo should still have college eligibility.
Right.
If he hadn't gone there. I mean, he's done made some major mistakes with those kids. However, you could always say it seemed like he meant well.
Yes.
And I think he did mean well. And he loved this family. So what I hope the kids have removed the pictures of their dad and Big Baller Brand from Instagram. I hope that the family is not estranged. Now, obviously, you got to get rid of Alan Foster. Yeah. But hopefully, and the dad, not looking at the emails. You mentioned putting the guy in charge of the money. That was terrible. Not looking at the email from the agent. They sent it in October about all the misdeeds financially. Reportedly, LaVar didn't look at it until a week ago. So that's horrible. So I get why if they're mad with their dad, I get it. But hopefully they will be able to work it out as a family and just be a regular family. Like the dad, you're not involved with my business.
You're a dad.
You're just a dad. You're just a dad. Now, I think, like you said, it's great for Lonzo. He hashtagged on Instagram, my own man. I didn't like him putting the number 2 in the rafters. Just become a legitimate starter first. You know what I mean? Like, but I think we're going to see the best of Lonzo, like whatever that is, whether that's an all-star like Skip may think, or that's just a good starter, whatever. I think he's going to get a better trainer.
Yes.
I think he'll be healthier, whether it's the sneakers or not. I just think we'll see the best of Lonzo going forward. And I would say this, Shannon, and maybe you can relate to it. Sometimes, and I've been a victim in the black community with the racism historically, and that still goes on today with mass incarceration, with the war on drugs. I know guys that have spent many years in prison. I got some friends that have spent many years in prison. And a lot of times you give them the benefit of the doubt. Because you may think they may have done something wrong, or maybe the system, caught up with them, or you think they're rehabilitated. And now I wouldn't have put him in charge of the money, like you said, but I've been burned by I haven't lost money, and obviously not to this extent, but I've been disappointed. I trusted some guys that have been in prison that I thought they would change their behavior. I thought, and I've ended up disappointed because they didn't act like I thought they would. And so I can understand when LaVar said, I believe the best in people. I can understand how he may have known about this guy's background, but still thought, this is my man, I can trust him.
He wouldn't do that to me.
He was burned.
He wouldn't do that to us, Skip.
Right.
So obviously I remain a big Lonzo fan, basketball-wise. This just tears me up for how hard his father made it for this kid. Because not only did he just about talk him straight out of the league as the number 2 overall pick, playing point guard for Magic Johnson in his home area of Los Angeles. That's hard enough. But when you say he's better than Steph, he's better than LeBron, blah, 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 it just makes it harder and harder. And we all hark back to Patrick Beverley on opening night. Just said, I'm going to destroy this kid, and I'm going to point to you in the stands, LaVar, because this is for you, not for this poor kid, because he's just an NBA baby. Right. I don't know what, this has got to be devastating, embarrassing, completely distracting when you're trying to play basketball and you got this hanging over your head. And this is why I'm so disappointed in LaVar. And I've defended him many times on this show just because he loves his kids to a fault. But LaVar is straight out of Compton, and I thought he had one of the highest BS detectors you could have because he knows the streets.
Right.
He should be able to see it and feel it before it happens. And I'm pretty sure he knew nothing about Alan Foster's background. And when he met Alan Foster, he was fresh out of prison for financial fraud. Worse, if you go back to his records, Alan Foster had gotten busted on a gun charge, carrying a weapon without a permit, and then he violated his probation on top of that. And then he went to, and listen to what the prosecutor said about the financial prosecuting of Alan Foster. He says they targeted African Americans that they got to know through churches and by other means, and they made various misrepresentations of them about their ability to return large sums on investments, which were false. Now, that's just the lowest of the low to me, and that's the guy you chose because he had a son who was in 7th grade with Lonzo at Chino Hills, whatever that middle school would be there, right? And because the sons became buddies, then all of a sudden, Alan Foster was able to buddy up with LaVar, and LaVar just completely bought in and trusted him. And he got flim-flammed, allegedly. Allegedly. Now, think about that. LaVar Ball, straight out of Compton, getting flim-flammed. I don't think it was like by a friend. He just got to know him, but you got to check people's backgrounds. I just don't think he knew anything about this.
I bet he knew that he had been in prison.
You think so?
Yeah, because he probably knows a lot of guys that have been in prison.
For financial fraud, and then you hand him the keys to your
Maybe he didn't know he was in for financial fraud. Right. Maybe, like you said, the gun charge, Skip. But the thing is, and you see that a lot of times, The
he
church
probably didn't know what it was.
The vulnerable is in church because the last place you expect to be a victim of is in the church.
I know it.
No, but you ain't.
You want to believe the people?
You ain't gonna.
They trying to live for God.
What did they say? Will a man rob God?
Right.
No, he might not rob God, but he'll get you.
But that,
none.
No,
none. See, see, Skip, and when it make you want to hurt somebody, man. This man done worked all his life. I mean, Lonzo worked all his life to be in this situation. And you just took this man's money. Maybe if you just asked, well, Lonzo, can you invest in this? Don't take, man, I hate that. I hate
allegedly, there's a missing 1.5 million.
And look, that whatever he's gonna go with Nike, it appears.
Well,
he's not getting a $10 million deal from them that he would have gotten before.
Nah, he would have.
It might just be we'll give you the product and you can wear it because you just an average player at this point. And the good thing is he found out quickly. This is what his second year.
Yes.
Remember Kevin Garnett lost $77 million.
Tim Duncan.
I know Tim Duncan. I know other players who've had friends that they brought along with them who, were taking money on the side. So at least he found out.
But Skip, I had this conversation. Remember, I told you, Skip, I said, you got to be careful. I said, you be overbearing and the kids will turn up bucking and resenting their parents.
Yep.
Todd Marinovich.
I know.
Right.
When his dad became overbearing and this and yada, 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 these kids want their own identity. But it's hard for me to believe. I don't believe Big Baller was ever about the kids. Big Baller was about LaVar.
Oh,
this was him.
By the way, there's another BBB called Better Business Bureau. It still gives them an F, says ESPN. It gives them an F because they are not capable of handling online orders.
It might be hard at this point for Lonzo, but maybe a fresh start in the end is going to be a better situation.
And maybe he gets that situation resolved.